This is part two of the I Have a Dream tutorial. It's You're building a sort of a soundboard app similar to an MP3 player. When the user clicks on the buttons, speeches or other audio should play. So in part one, we built the user interface. We're now in part two. We're going to build out the blocks to program it to make sure it works correctly, or to get it to work correctly. All right. So we're now on the blocks, and so the first thing we're going to do is we want to get into our MLK button. And when the MLK button is, let's see here, when it's touched down, actually is what we're going to be looking for. When the user clicks on it, that's when we want something to happen. So we're going to go down to the sound menu, just down here. So we're going to have it play something, except it's not going to play a JPEG. It's going to play our first MP3. It's pretty straightforward. We now want to program it to do something different when the user takes the cursor off of the button. So we'll go back to the MLK button for a second. And what we want is the touch up. Oh, pull this out. And what we want to happen when it touches up is that it should pause the King MP3. So if you click down on it, it should play. When you take your finger off of it, it should pause. And we want to do the same thing very simply for Malcolm X. So we'll pull out some Malcolm X buttons here. So when Malcolm X is touched down, we want it to play our Malcolm X MP3. And go in here, grab when it's touched up. We'll have it pause. Make sure it switches over to Malcolm X. Pretty straightforward. And so now let's test this. And we'll start off with MLK.
I have a dream. What is your real name?
Malcolm X.
Is that your legal name?
As far as I'm concerned, it's my legal name.
Would you mind telling me what your father's last name was?
It's supposed to stop playing, so... because we have the JPEG. Okay. So now we got that fixed. This is part two. The last part of this activity is a challenge to add your own civil rights activist. So you'll start off by finding some of that information. You go to Google Images to find some images. There are a couple of different sites where you can find sound clips, or you can just find a written version of something a civil rights activist has said, and you can copy and paste that into the sound player. And so when you're uploading your files, you click here, Assets, and get the media files. Good luck. Excited to see what you come up with.